All right, the Reds, it's Talking Reds, but Talking Reds with a difference today. We're at Marine Football Club, which is just north of Liverpool, non-league side, been going for absolutely years, 126 years in fact, and they are looking to get to the third round of the FA Cup for only the second time in their history. So we're going to speak to Dave Raven, who used to play for Liverpool, used to play for Tranmere, now he's at Marine, and we're going to chat about the Reds, the FA Cup and Marine. Okay, here now with Dave Raven of Marine, formerly once upon a time of Liverpool, also of Tranmere, Carlisle, where else were you? Inverness?
Shrewsbury. Bit of a journeyman.
He's had a career all over 400 games as a pro, and here he is now at Marine. And Marine have got a huge game on Sunday against Havant and Waterlooville, an opportunity to get to the third round of the FA Cup for only the second time in the club's history. And Dave, let's start off with the Colchester game. It was on the iPlayer, I watched it, I thought it was superb, and I think when you read reports about a giant kill and a side from level 8 knocking a professional side out like Colchester, you think, oh well, they must have been scrapping, they must have been hanging on, but I thought Marine really held their own and could have won it in normal time.
Yeah, definitely, we were comfortable. I mean, say comfortable, they did move us around a lot, but that's what we expected. I don't think he could handle the game plan that the manager and the coaches set out and the lads executed that day. So, although they did a lot of like side-to-side movements, they didn't really penetrate that often. Shots on goal were few and far between, so in that sense, yeah, we were comfortable. But it was one of them games where any lapse of concentration, bang, we would have been punished. So, yeah, as you say, getting into extra time, you're thinking, right, our legs are going a little bit now. We had lads pulling up with cramp and thing. I'm thinking the best chance that we're going to win is penalties. And it was sort of like, let's just get through this and get to pens, yeah.
And I know all the penalties confidently taken. You took one yourself, the fourth one. Did you sort of feel, given your career and everything else, you had to step up and take one?
Yeah, I mean, I was by far the most experienced player probably on the pitch actually, but in our team. So it's just that little bit of leadership where I thought, well, if I don't step up and take one, then I'm not showing like good leadership there. So yeah, that's what I did. And we didn't even practice them. We hadn't even practiced them the day before or nothing. And the manager said to me, he said, I didn't know you took penalties. I said, I don't. I said, the last one was, I think Shrewsbury. We played Bury in the League Cup years ago, and that was the only penalty I've ever taken since. So took two, scored two, 100% record.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And Marine on BT Sport on Sunday. Unfortunately, fans obviously can't be in the ground because of the rules around COVID. But if you can hear noises in the background, it is the ground being prepped for Sunday's game, and a gantry is being built behind us for the TV companies and things like that. It is live 2:45 on BT Sport. That in itself for a club like Marine is really exciting, isn't it? And I think as well, it's worth saying, Dave, that Marine have had to negotiate already 6 matches to reach this point, including beating Chester, who were sort of level 6, aren't they? Colchester then, who were League 2. They've done fantastic to get to here.
Yeah, I mean, our season started before even a league ball was kicked with an FA Cup game. We actually played Barn Aldswick. We were talking about it the other day. We had a friendly, and the ref who refed us that day against Barn Aldswick refed us for the friendly. And he says, we were 1-0 down with a couple of minutes left, and we ended up winning 2-1. But we were given a goal at the time we all thought went over the line. And upon seeing it again, it actually ended up not being over the line. It was on or not, the whole ball wasn't over. So like we had a little bit of luck on the very, very first qualifying round. That's like, and look where we are all these months later. So it's been a long journey. I think we've only played 5 league games or something because of it, with the FA Trophy as well. So it's been brilliant. It's been brilliant for the lads. It's been brilliant for the whole area. You've seen what the community are like. You've seen it's buzzing here now. The chairman's buzzing. It just gives everybody that little bit of lift. And especially with the year that we've had, I think an area like this just buys into a small club doing well. I think everybody likes that fairy tale story, and it's been brilliant for everyone involved.
And how does it all compare for you, Dave? Because obviously you know, you've got a Premier League appearance under your belt. You've played in a Scottish Cup semi-final and scored the winner, knocking Celtic out, getting Inverness Cali to the final for the first time. You know, you've got some great highlights in your career there. You've made a career out of football as well, which is the dream for so many of us. So where did it compare to knock Colchester out of the FA Cup?
Yeah, I mean, I said at the time, it's up there with the achievements, just because, I mean, when you're a pro, you're sort of, it's everything you do, it's your job, and you're there every day, and your levels are high. When you're semi-pro, we train twice a week. Everybody's working through the week, and then we come and train at night time. You got to, with everything like that taken into consideration, it's the achievement-wise, it's right up there, and everything else that's come afterwards is. I didn't think this would happen again in my career, so I was sort of, you know, I was happy with the career that I'd had, and then when this comes along, I'm like, wow, this is. I'm going to milk it for what it's worth, enjoy the games, enjoy the spectacle of everything, because it could be the last time. So I thought it had gone, and I was back again, like big games like this. But I mean, beating Colchester was right up there, just because of the, as I say, like the perspective that you can look at it.
Yeah. We have Steve Warnock a lot on the Anfield app. He regularly does a show with us called The Pro Review, and like, you know, over the time we've been doing it with him, we've gone through every aspect of his career, all the way from the start to the end. He's revealed a lot of stuff on that show, and we've talked to him about, you know, when he made the decision to hang his boots up, and he just said, I didn't want to keep going down the levels, because he said, I just thought it's not for me. And some of the stuff he said, and I've heard other people say it, is that when you've played at the very top and then you're coming down the leagues and you play a non-league, it's completely different, isn't it? You've almost got to adjust your own game from what you were once playing.
You do, yeah. So like you adjust to the level, like the level doesn't really adjust to you, and you find that it is completely different, and you've got to sort of. It's been tough at times for me. The first time I did come out of professional football was at Warrington Town. And it was a big eye-opener for many reasons, but I found this year it was more, a lot of it is a case of getting your ego out the way, getting your fact that, like, yeah, you've played at certain levels, that's fine, you're comfortable at them levels, and then thinking, especially on a match day or training day where you might get the ball at your feet and the player's not there where you expect them to be. So you end up just not doing these certain things that you've done all your career. You end up just, as you say, adjusting to the level, heading it, kicking it, whatever it might be. But a lot of it for me, my personal experience was actually just getting my ego out the way and just embracing the fact that I'm still getting paid by someone to play football, and that was it really. So I can work, I can stay fit, and I can be paid to play football and get a couple of extra quid to support the family that way. Do you know, a few of these boys have had top careers like Stevie Warnock's, probably a lot easier for him to just retire like that. Whereas I'm transitioning out of the game in terms of, you know, I haven't made millions of pounds, so like this is still important to me, financially. So yeah, it is a massive change from professional football. Don't get me wrong, but there's other times where you just think it's brilliant, like Colchester, you know, like the games we've had here as well. So I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great fairy tale, and let's hope it continues. Marine are live on BT Sport on Sunday. Tune in and watch that one. We'll be back with Dave in a minute for a little bit more. We're going to talk about his career, about his time at Liverpool. Might ask him about Virgil van Dijk as well, because he's played against him as well. All right, we've moved to the other end of the pitch now, back with Dave. We're going to talk about his time at Liverpool now. So tell us about that, Dave. I mean, that's you know, the dream for so many people, having the chance to go to Liverpool. You did that, and look, you know, it probably didn't turn out how you wanted, of course, but nevertheless, you know, you played in the FA Cup, you played in the League Cup, you played in the Premier League. It's not bad, is it?
Yeah, it's something I can look back with pride. Couldn't quite make that next level at the time. I mean, Steve Finnan was the right back. We had Joss and me behind him. It wasn't great. And I was getting pushed by Alan Miller and Paco, the first team coach at the time, like, come on, push yourself, there's a chance here. Steve Finnan gets injured, you can be the next one in. And I tried. I remember thinking, like, I'm giving everything I've got and I don't know what else to do. You know, I was trying in games, and he just thought I was being steady Eddie. He said, stop being steady Eddie. But if you look at my career, that's basically just the way I played. Yeah. And that's all it was. And I just couldn't quite make that next level. I mean, yeah, I probably could have been comfortable at the level. 10, 15, 20 games, you find your feet and you're comfortable at the level. But I think Liverpool need more than that. You know, you look at the likes of Stevie G and Trent and the local lads who come through, and like the Stevie Warnock there, they enhance the team, they make it better, you know. So it's no good having someone that's comfortable at the level, and I knew that, I was aware of that. After my few games, I had a taste of it, taste of first team, and I knew it was never going to go anywhere else. So it was time to move on.
Your debut though was against Tottenham, wasn't it, in the League Cup? And it was a young side that managed to beat Spurs on pens. Yeah. And I remember that, and you got good reviews from that game. You played well. Yeah.
No, I did. Yeah. I mean, I started nervous. I remember the game. I was nervy to start. I mean, first time in front of a big crowd like that at White Hart Lane against, you know, seeing their team sheet go up, it was a bit, wow, what's this? This is real. This is happening. But then when I settled into the game, it was great. Yeah, I didn't want the game to finish. I remember going to, obviously went to penalties, but I just wanted to carry on playing because I was just loving it, you know, the lights, the crowd, everything. But yeah, it was, from then I thought, right, yeah, this could go somewhere, you know, might have a chance. And I got a couple more chances and just didn't get, the results of the games I played in weren't great. Performances weren't great. We got beat at Burnley, we got beat at Crystal Palace, I got beat at Southampton. And I think that just nailed the coffin for us there, really. So yeah, it didn't really happen.
Yeah, the Burnley game was obviously the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And we're talking about an FA Cup game here, but you know that sort of, you know, it was a bad night for Liverpool, wasn't it? Yeah. There's the infamous Traore own goal. Yeah. Nunes was sent off as well, wasn't he? And it was I think you remember, it was a horrible night, wasn't it? Didn't get called off at first because of the pitch.
Yeah, and it was a bog. Yeah. So it was a proper leveller. Like there was no we couldn't play our game really because it was an absolute bog. I remember my legs being sapped that day as well, and it played into their hands, to be honest. Jimmy Traore might not have scored that goal, but we probably would have got beat that night. We weren't great. So yeah, it was, as I say, it just didn't quite happen the way I wanted it to, but it's one of them, and I came to terms with that quite quickly because I knew I was getting to 1920, and I, like some of my peers at that time, like they played 50, 60 games in the Championship level or League One level, whatever it was, and I was miles behind them. So I needed to get out and go and play.
I think you come on for Sami Hyypiä in the Premier League appearance that you made, and you end up playing centre half, don't you, against Crouchy?
Well, he was right back, but Crouchy came out to the left.
Oh right, okay.
So what happened was, yeah, he came off Sami Hyypiä, and I went on at right back, and Harry Redknapp was on the side. He just said, Crouchy, get on him. So he just came trotting over, and it's all the Southampton players, just diag after diag on top of my head, which, yeah, it was fine. That was a bit of a baptism of fire that night.
Yeah. What was the experience in general like of Liverpool? Okay, it didn't turn out how you wanted, but nevertheless, you know, you obviously got to work briefly under Rafa Benitez. You got the whole experience of being at the club and stuff like that. How do you look back on it now?
With brilliant memories. I've made great friends, and it stood me in such good stead for the rest of my career. Even speaking to you guys now is because I was there 15 years ago. So people like to talk about it. They like to ask you about it. But at the time, sometimes you do have to pinch yourself that you're sitting in a changing room with these guys and you're training with these guys. You know, top draw players. But it was such a platform for me to move on. So I can go and have a career because I've been where I've been. And as I say, people still want to talk about it now, which is brilliant. And I look back and think, God, yeah, I did do that. And you can look at it with a bit of pride, and that's how I look at it now, yeah.
I mentioned before when you're in Scotland, Inverness, Caledonian Thistle, you stayed up there for a while, embraced it up there, got involved, and a well thought of up there still, it seems. And you know, you scored that goal that I mentioned in the first half against Celtic. Also played against Van Dijk. What was that like? Got to ask you about that because you know we all love Van Dijk, don't we, as Liverpool fans? Yeah. What was it like to be on the same pitches, and what do you remember making of him at the time?
At the time, I was amazed that he went to Southampton. I was amazed Liverpool didn't come in for him, or Man U or Arsenal, one of the big boys come in for him when he was at Celtic. He was that good. It was like, I likened him to like Jonah Lomu. I remember him getting the ball out of his feet and he just, say if the centre of the pitch opened up, he'd stride forward and you think, right, how are we going to get this boy down now? You know what I mean? It'd take 3 lads to get him down.
Yeah.
Or he'd get out of his feet, zinging diags, and he was in 50% mode up there. I mean, he plays like he plays now. But I just think now his fitness levels and everything else are just like sky high. He was a Rolls Royce, and it was a pleasure to play against him as well. I mean, when we played against him in that semi-final, he had a bit of an off day. He did. we had the lad Marley Watkins who went down to Bristol City and Barnsley, and his job was to just ruffle his feathers. So manager said to him, Van Dijk, he said, he's a Rolls Royce, stand on his toes, elbow him, do whatever you can. And it seemed to work that day. Yeah. And Marley ran all over Van Dijk, and I'm thinking, wow, that's a big off day for him, so it worked for us. But other than that, he was brilliant.
Well, one other thing on your time at Liverpool, when you got your opportunity around that time, and there was a few others who got a chance as well, there was a lot of injuries for Liverpool, I remember at that time, and not dissimilar to the situation we're in now with all the injuries. And I just wondered, what was it like for you and some of those other lads to just be, you've gone from academy and training with the first team, but all of a sudden, you come in one day and they literally go, you're out there today. Yeah. What's that like? Because I think, I see some of the lads that's happening to now, and I think it's a bit unfair that people give them a hard time. I'm thinking, seeing, Nico Williams has had a bit of stick again, and it's a bit like, he's a young lad though, and he's being thrown into such a pressure situation.
Yeah, well, my view of this is, I think Ajax or Feyenoord, one of the Dutch teams do it right. So when they blood a lad, they'll give them, say, 20 games, 25 games. I think it does take that long for them to bed in and find their feet. It's not just playing at the level they might be fine. It's the expectation they need to get used to. It's the crowds they need to get used to. It's the actual, your whole life turns upside down. Where, more money's coming in, your people wanting to speak to you. So everything changes like that. But you're the same. And so I think they just need that little bit of time. And it is when, obviously, from my experience when we were coming in, I'd gone from playing reserve games at grounds like this, empty, no one there, to next thing, you're playing at White Hart Lane, there's 40,000 people there, and it was like, you've got to be able to deal with that, and that's fine. You've got to be able to deal with the likes of Michael Carrick on the other team as well. He was a superstar, and like, this is where I think Liverpool are doing it right now, where getting them all together. They're down at Kirby now, so you can mix with the first team, you get used to them. Yeah. So like, up in Scotland you still have boot boys, and I think that's a great thing to have. For some reason down here we don't do it anymore. But with a boot boy you get to know the first team a little bit, you get to know them, so when you do go and train with them, is such and such, you can come and play, and so it's a bit more familiarity for you. So you just need to, I think young players need a bit more time just to get used to everything. Yeah,
absolutely. On to Liverpool's game this weekend then, Brighton, the early kick-off, 12:30 on Saturday. I just wonder what you made of this one, because you look at it on the surface and Brighton's 16th in the league, they've only won 2 out of 9. I think just looking at those raw stats you sort of go, oh well, that should be an easy enough win for Liverpool. But I don't know what you've made of them. When I've seen Brighton, I've actually been impressed by them, and I think they're playing better football than the position they're in. Yeah,
I mean, Potter doesn't. He got a team in Sweden from the bottom of the league up to the Europa League, didn't he? So like 4 tiers. So you're not doing that for nothing. The man's good. He's got them playing well. I think again he's just needed that bit of time to get them playing like he wants them to play. And I think you'll see them climb the league. I think they're good side, playing well. Yeah, I mean, and they're probably thinking that they're going to catch Liverpool at the right time, aren't they? Injuries, defeat in the week, things like this. So it's potential banana skin for them. Nothing's easy, is it? So every game's gone. It's tough. They're all good players. They're all big, strong, physical boys who can play the game. So it's a tough game. They've played 6 games against Liverpool since they came back up from the Premier League after a long way out of the top flight. They've lost every one of those, but they do seem to have got tighter and tighter really. So when they first come up, we're beating them 5-1 and 4-0 and things like that. But then there's been a couple of 1-0s, there's been a 2-1. We won 3-1 down there last season, but you can see this one being quite tight, even tighter again. Yeah. They're just making that steady progress, aren't they? But you'd like to think Liverpool are making that. They obviously are, aren't they? The progress they're making. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of teams now are taking, especially with Liverpool, more care of how they're going to play against them. You're looking at the likes, of Atalanta, and they set the game plan was great, wasn't it? And you'll find a lot of Premier League managers will look at that. They'll drill the plays even more so. Say Brighton were playing, I don't know, Aston Villa. I don't think they're going to drill the lads anywhere near as much as they drill them against Liverpool. It's a massive game. It's everybody's cup final at the minute, and that just makes it even harder, doesn't it, for them Liverpool players, especially them young boys you're talking about who are coming in, taking the place of Trent or whatever it is. It's big pressure for them, and they've got to be able to cope with it.
Absolutely. Well, one last one on the big game here on Sunday. It is an opportunity for Marine to reach the third round. Obviously, you've got the task in hand, Havant and Waterlooville. They're sort of a couple of leagues above Marine. People might remember them from when they played Liverpool 2008, and they were 1-0 up and 2-1 up at Anfield before Liverpool eventually won 5-2. But I know that you'll probably give me the professional answer, but is there a tiny bit of your mind where you're thinking, if we could get through, we could get Liverpool, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course there is. Listen, I'm a dreamer, so I'll sit in the car on the way back, and I will let my mind wander. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. And you can dream about things, and because that's what you want, isn't it? And then as long as you bring yourself back to the present and say, well, yeah, this is what I need to do to get that. We need to beat Havant and Waterlooville on Sunday to get that. And you stay focused on that, that's absolutely fine. And yeah, I do dream about that. I think about it a lot because that motivates me. Do you know what I mean? It's this on Sunday is going to be one of the toughest games that some of these lads have ever played. It's going to be tough, physical, fast. They're not coming in and passing it side to side. They're going to put it in behind us. They're going to put balls in the box. They've got a 6'5" centre half. They're going to bring him up for corners. It's going to be one of them games. So we've got a lot to do, but you can dream. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely, Dave. Absolutely. Well, nice one for doing this. And unless one of those gardens is yours, the best way for you to watch this match is on the TV on Sunday. BT Sports, 2:45, Marine v Havant and Waterlooville. Good luck in that one, Dave. Cheers. Really hope you get through. Thanks for your time today. That's been Talking Reds.